Where we are with this government, we're in danger of witnessing one of the most vicious and brutal repressions we've seen in recent times. I say that because I'm actually old enough to remember the policing response prior to civil disturbances in the 81 and 86 eras. And on both of those times here in the United Kingdom, hundreds of black youth were swept up with those who were accused of causing criminal damage. Innocent black youth were jointly arrested. People went to prison on a joint enterprise charge. That means they didn't really commit crime. They were just happened to be standing in the general locality of where the crime happened. We've got 16,000 people on the streets, police officers on the streets later on today. That reminds me and harks back to what we used to call policing swamp operations. That's where you have 3,000 officers in a quarter square mile area, and everybody is stopped and searched within that area.
Wow, that sounds like that's what they call gang sweeps in L.A. and in Oakland and Chicago.
Well,
that's
you're
exactly,
educating me,
that's
sir.
exactly what it is, David.
Yeah, you're educating me on that point. So we've got challenges ahead of us, and part of what our response is to say is that we need the business community, the faith community, the creative community, the hip-hop community to begin to understand that we're going to have to start forming defense committees, legally committees. So there's huge levels of oppressive arrests that are likely to follow in the wake of what we've seen. Yes, when you look and analyze the makeup of those who are involved in these acts of looting, they're from every community, they're from every generation as it happens. But also, we also know that when the state, as it has done today, has given a green light to the police to come in and break bones and bust heads and and fill up the jails as quickly as possible, so that will invariably focus on the black communities. It will invariably focus on the Muslim communities. It will invariably focus on the white working class communities, the poorer white communities, where they'll be focused. But we'll be number one on top of that list, probably quickly followed up by Muslims.
Right.
And I think that's another important thing, because during this whole a series of uprisings throughout the country, it's funny that the police in London in particular have been able to ensure that the white areas are fully protected where they've been threatened by this kind of looting, whereas the areas such as Tottenham and Brixton, which are predominantly black, have been left to burn. And we draw our own conclusions from that, in the sense that we understand the broader politics. Right now, the police are suffering some of the biggest, threatened with some of the biggest cuts to their pensions and public sector pay that we've ever seen in the United Kingdom.
Wow.
And there is a sense that certain officers were happy to see things burn, because that would strengthen their agenda when talking to a Prime Minister about the need for additional policing resources and protection of police pay. Now, you know, there are those amongst us who say, well, that's absolutely ludicrously, you know, it's not possible. But I have to say that if we had 6,000 police officers on the streets of London last night, and tonight that suddenly increased to 16,000, I have to say, where were the other 10,000 last night? Because on the night when the rioting was taking place.
Wow.
Because I've got evidence and key evidence from witnesses who say they saw the police sitting in vans doing absolutely nothing. So I think there's a broader agenda here. We may be being set up for that sucker blow in terms of the level of arrest that we'll now see coming. And we're going to have to unify on a level that we've never seen before, because I think we're going to be for incredibly tough and challenging times in the forthcoming days and weeks.
Okay, if you're just tuning in, that's the voice of Lee Jasper, community organizer out of London. We also been on the phone with Twilight Bay, also a community activist, both giving us the real deal. Stuff that has not been reported, and giving us a context to what has been taking place in London. And for folks that are here in the Bay Area in particular, having gone through the Oscar Grant movements and seen what happens, we can draw a lot of parallels all the way down to police cuts and the need to push an agenda and make themselves, quote unquote, indispensable by allowing dust to be kicked up. And this is something that we, when you start talking to people all around the country, we're starting to see this. I want to ask you all a question. question, and then we're going to have to kind of wrap up a little bit.